Hey everyone, Anthony here. Today I'm going to be doing a build breakdown video of my 2022 Gas MC350EF. I've had this bike for a little under a year now. I bought it from Thousand Oaks Power Sports in November of 2021. And I've kind of learned the tricks and trade and added some bits and pieces that I think have really helped this bike, as well as make it look a little bit better. So without further ado, let's hop right on into the build breakdown. Now at the heart of this bike is to be the engine. The engine is primarily bone stock. I've had to do a top end change about 90 to 95 hours. I replaced the parts with Pro X parts, so it'd be the piston and gaskets, stuff like that. Standard compression size, cylinder head is not honed or ported or anything like that. So everything is primarily stock in there or to OEM specs. So that's really cool. As you see here, I have the Henson clutch cover. I'm really just faking it until I make it. I'm not a huge clutch guy. I tend to stay off the clutch and lug the bike a little bit more. Moving on to the airbox area, I do have the 2018 KTM 350 air boot. Now it's a hot secret with these guys. If you have the 19 to 2022 model, you're gonna have a different air boot from the 2018. So if you buy the 2018, you're gonna gain about a pound-foot of torque. Super hot trick with these guys. If you get more torque out of them, they ride really well. You don't have to rev them as much. So if you're a guy like me who likes to lug a little bit and looking for more torque, it's about 60 bucks for the air boot. Super easy to install, takes about 45 minutes to an hour. And yeah, you're good to go. 250 SX air filter cage. It's pretty much the same as the 350 SXF or MC 350F air filter cage. The only difference is it doesn't come with the backfire screen. I do have the Decal Works vented airbox cover. Now it's very similar to what you'd see on a KTM with the holes design. That whole gamut just mounts right on FMF muffler. This is gonna be the 4.1 RCT titanium muffler. Super cool. No header on this guy. It is the OEM header. Eventually down the road, I do plan on getting the titanium header to match the muffler as well. I just really haven't gotten around to doing so. And I do have the Vortex ignition mapped by Jamie over at Twisted Development. If you're in the Southern California area, I highly recommend Twisted Development if you're looking to get some added boost from your bike. Moving on to suspension, I do have suspension revalved by JB over at Ride JBI. JB is the owner of Ride JBI. He started this company a couple of years ago, I believe. And is now in the Southern California area. I actually stopped by JB's shop a couple of times before actually getting this bike revalved by him, and he took the time out of his day to answer all the questions, and I left leaving his shop really trusting him, and I felt a little bit more knowledgeable about suspension and what I was gonna be getting into with his setup. So I went with him, and right off the bat, I noticed a couple of things. The first thing being when I hopped on the track is how much traction I felt like I had. Whether it was a berm, a rut, or a flat turn, the bike really felt planted into the ground compared to the OEM valving. Another good thing is you're gonna get good mid-stroke support along with good bottoming out resistance. So the suspension isn't gonna ride too low or too high in the travel. I felt like it wasn't just blowing through the stroke and getting to the bottom and starting to feel harsh at all. The suspension is nice and supple on top. When you get into that mid-stroke, it has good support, so you're not blowing through that mid-stroke and riding too low into the suspension. I also have the Gas factory triple clamps here in red. Super cool, ties into the rest of the bike as far as the plastics, the hubs. Next up, let's tackle the wheel and tire setup that I have running. This is gonna be a W wheel set. It's a black Excel 1 rim laced to a red Talon hub. Do have the silver spoke and nipple combination that ties into the rest of the build as well. As I mentioned, the clamps and wheels actually match really well. Moving on to the tire setup here, I do have a Dunlop 3S front. First time running the 3S front, I'm usually a Bridgestone guy, so transferring over to the Dunlops, I've run the MX-53, the 33, and the 3S is by far my favorite. Dunlop MX-33 out back as well. I was kind of torn between the 53 to 33. I've run both. Ended up going with the 33, and I don't really have any regrets so far. Up front, I do have Ride JBI's titanium fork lug bolts. There's also some bolts for the front brake caliper. I have the Gas factory donut grips. Pro Taper bar, this is a bar off of a 2020 FC 450 Rockstar Edition bike. I haven't cut them down or anything like that, just threw them on, matched them to these no waffle hard compound ODI grip. I like a really thin grip. No waffle for me. I like a lot of bar feel, so running these guys, I have a gas seat. It doesn't really look like it because I have the red and white Moto seat cover on this seat. But this gas seat is a lower seat. It's about 15 millimeters lower, I believe. It's 10 or 15, can't quite remember off the top of my head. But I just wanted a little bit more clearance from the seat to butt and a little bit more leverage on my pegs when sitting down. So threw this on there. Ergonomically, the bike fits me a little bit better. I'm at 5'7". I'm not a huge guy by any means. Don't have super long legs, so wanted to throw this shorter seat on there. Ergonomically, like I said, fits me better. Rival Ink graphics. These are gonna be the Avant style graphics. I didn't change anything. I really just threw my logos on, threw my number and nickname on there, and that was it. I have a CRF 450R brake pedal spring. If you have the KTM brake pedal springs still on your KTM, I highly suggest to just literally take it off. They suck. I've snapped 2 of them. It's a known problem with these KTMs, so if you haven't run into this problem yet, you may down the road. It's about only a couple bucks to buy the Honda one, so throw that on there if you get the chance. That's gonna wrap up this build. Thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate it. Stay tuned for more motor-related content for either myself or my girlfriend. We're gonna be doing a bunch of collaborative videos or just videos at the track with my friends, my dad, anything like that. So stay tuned for more moto content. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in the next one.